Little Joy here, and welcome back to another video. So for this video, I decided to do the part 2 to the people as mushrooms, and I actually did 3 drawings this time, so I was very excited about that. And creating these characters were a lot of fun and totally different than what I normally do. But I mean, honestly, I feel like that's like the best part about this. It's like totally something out of my comfort zone. It's not something that I usually do a lot. Like I said in my last video, like character design is just not something that I do very often. So I feel like this was a great way to definitely like start on that. I would love to do more character design in the future. So yeah, hopefully you'll be seeing more of that. For this first drawing, I actually did a kind of like poll on TikTok to see which mushrooms people wanted, and I put down like 6 different mushrooms, and a lot of people said the broad-gilled mushroom, so that's what this first one is. And then they also really did like the wood ear mushroom and the false chandelier mushroom. I, dear Lord, hope I said that correct, because honestly I don't even know if that was correct, so excuse me if I did pronounce that wrong. But for this first one, this was actually, I think this was my last one that I drew, but I really liked this one, so it wasn't my favorite out of these drawings, but I did want to put this one up first. And honestly, I couldn't decide if I wanted this character to wear a suit or a dress, so I think I kind of just did both. I think I got a lot of the inspiration from the fox from The Bad Guys, and honestly I feel like it works really well for how this mushroom looks and how I decided to design them as a mushroom. Honestly, I feel like it worked out really well. So I mean, I honestly don't really draw too many masculine things or masculine people, so they are a bit more feminine, because I also didn't know if I wanted them to be feminine or masculine. So I think that's another reason why I just did the dress and the suit kind of combined in one. But overall, I think it worked out really well. And the colors that I chose were kind of like just eye drops straight from the mushroom. And I didn't know if I liked the colors completely, but in the end, I feel like they did work really well. And for the shading, I decided to do this weird like turquoise, and the highlight, I think I just did like a seafoam green for the highlight, but I mean, I feel like it really did work out. And for this next one, this is the false chandelier one, and this was the first drawing that I drew, and I usually never draw like masculine people, so he is a bit more feminine than I intended him to be. But I mean, I feel like the suit really did kind of like help bring out his masculine feature. And a lot during this video, as during these drawings as well, I really want to work on more face shapes, because I do kind of have a problem with like same face syndrome, which doesn't really work. And so mostly I really did want to work a lot more on like drawing different faces and noses. I think I did that pretty well though, considering it's a little bit outside of my comfort zone. And honestly, I feel like it really did just work out a lot. And for this drawing, I used a lot of yellows, and I gave him more kind of like a tan feature than anything. And I gave him yellow hair and like blue eyes. I don't know if that was the correct choice for that, honestly, but I mean, it looks good. But I think if I were to redraw this character, I think I would change his eyes. I feel like they just don't really go too well with it, but I mean, they do pop, so I guess that's kind of good. And I decided to give him more wrinkles since I never really give my characters like wrinkles. I usually just give them eye bags. So I feel like this really did work well, in my opinion. And I don't know what kind of suit I gave him, but it's kind of like, I kind of looked up some suits and it kind of just gave me to this idea of a suit. It was a little bit different, and I feel it's weird, and I don't know why I put the jacket hanging off his shoulders, but it's okay. It's all part of character design. It's gonna get better in the future. And for the shading, I decided to go with a green that was eye dropped from the picture as well, which I think worked really well. And in the other drawing, you can actually see that I turned off the coloring. But since this was the first drawing that I did, I actually didn't do that. So I don't know why I didn't do that in the first drawing, but it does help a lot, especially when you're shading if you just turn off the colors. So, because I know I did that with the last one that's going to be shown as well. And I did more of a blur on his, so it looks okay, but drawing the other ones, I decided not to do a Gaussian blur for the shading. I feel like it really didn't work well. And then for the last part, I kind of put like a color over him and put the opacity down a little lower. And yeah, that was it for that last one. So for this next one, I actually decided to do more of a side profile, and I tried to work more with the hands on this one, especially when holding something. I can like never draw hands holding something really. So this was like a lot. It was very different, and it was very hard to like get the hands correct. I think this was actually the drawing that took me the most time out of all of the drawings. I think this one took me a total of almost like 3 hours, and the other ones only took me like almost 2 hours. So this one is my favorite, and I had a lot of fun designing this. This one was the wood ear one, and I honestly just had such a fun time designing this one and kind of like using the control of the hair to also help with the shading after. And I made her very, very pale, but I feel like with her dark clothes that I gave her, it really did work. Like it helped pop her out a lot. And I also gave her orange hair, which was eye dropped from the picture that I had down below, which worked really well for her. And all in all, it just looked really pretty. And again, this is just one of my favorite ones, which is why I decided to put it last in this drawing, in this video. And I just had so much fun with this one. It was so much fun designing the character. It kind of almost reminds me of Hunger Games with like, what is it, the rich people? It's been a while since I watched the TV show, so please excuse me if I don't get like anything right. But it's the Capitol. Sorry, there we go. She reminds me a lot of the people of the Capitol, especially with her like big poofy hair and then her like big wide dress. It honestly really just works all together. And for the shading, I decided to go with like a deep blue, and I turned off the coloring again so I could kind of see where all the shading would be. And I think it was the shading that actually took me the longest time in this drawing, because I put so many lines in the hair, so I wasn't able to do kind of like just a big blob. I actually kind of had to like go in and make sure everything was kind of like perfect. And I think I took so much time with this, but I feel like it was definitely worth it. And I know for my highlights, I did kind of like a bright pink, which I don't think was the correct choice. So if I were to like go back, I would definitely change the drawing. But at the time, it looked pretty good. So I think that's the only reason why I kept it that way. But yeah, so these drawings were just a lot of fun, and I hope you guys liked them. And please let me know in the comments. All right, thank you. Bye.